Racist store owner calls police on innocent black shopper. What happens next is shocking. The bell above the door chimes as Leonard Brown flips the sign from closed to open. He inhales deeply, savoring the scent of new electronics and cleaning products that permeates Brown's electronics haven. Sunlight streams through the freshly cleaned windows, glinting off rows of sleek smartphones and shiny laptop screens. Leonard runs a hand over his balding head, straightening his polo shirt emblazoned with the store logo. At 58, he carries himself with the confidence of a man who's built his business from the ground up. His blue eyes scan the neat aisles, a sense of pride swelling in his chest. Another day, another dollar, he mutters, moving behind the counter to boot up the register. As he taps in his password, Leonard's mind drifts to the previous night's dinner with his longtime friend, Bill. Their conversation replays in his head. "You gotta be careful these days, Len," Bill had said, leaning in close. "Those people, they're getting bolder." Saw on the news how a gang cleaned out a Best Buy 2 towns over. Leonard had nodded, his fork pausing midway to his mouth. "Don't I know it? Just last week, I caught one of them trying to slip a smartwatch into his pocket. Can you believe it?" Now, as the first customers of the day trickle in, Leonard's guard is up. He greets Mrs. Henderson, a regular who's been shopping here since he opened 20 years ago, with a warm smile. "Good morning, Helen. How's that new tablet working out for you?" "Oh, just wonderfully, Leonard." Mrs. Henderson beams. "You were right about how easy it is to video call the grandkids." Leonard chuckles, basking in the glow of a satisfied customer. This is what he lives for, helping good, honest folks find the perfect gadget to enrich their lives. The morning progresses smoothly. Leonard assists a young couple choosing their first smart TV, patiently explaining the differences between OLED and QLED. He rings up a businessman purchasing a new laptop bag, engaging in friendly small talk about the local high school's football team. It's just after 11 a.m. when the bell chimes again. Leonard looks up, his welcoming smile faltering slightly as a young black man enters the store. The newcomer is tall and well-built, dressed in dark jeans and a fitted gray t-shirt. His curly black hair is cut close to his scalp, and his dark brown eyes hold an intensity that makes Leonard uneasy. Leonard's hand tightens on the edge of the counter. He watches as the man, mid to late 20s, Leonard guesses, begins to browse the aisles. The stranger's gait is confident, his movements purposeful as he examines various gadgets. "Can I help you find anything?" Leonard calls out, his tone clipped. The young man looks up, flashing a disarming smile. "Just browsing for now, thanks. You've got quite the selection here." Leonard nods curtly, his eyes never leaving the stranger as he moves towards the high-end smartphone display. A knot forms in Leonard's stomach. He's seen this before. Young thugs casing the place, pretending to be customers before making off with armfuls of merchandise. "Let me know if you need any assistance," Leonard says, forcing a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. As the minutes tick by, Leonard finds himself gravitating closer to the young man. He pretends to straighten already pristine displays, all the while keeping the stranger in his peripheral vision. The man picks up an iPhone, turning it over in his hands with obvious interest. Leonard's pulse quickens. He remembers the smartwatch incident from the previous week, how that other young man had tried to slip it into his pocket when he thought Leonard wasn't looking. "That's our latest model," Leonard says, sidling up to the stranger. "Just got them in last week." The young man nods, meeting Leonard's gaze. "It's impressive. The camera quality on these keeps getting better and better." Leonard grunts in agreement, caught off guard by the man's knowledgeable comment. Still, he can't shake the feeling that something's off. The way the stranger's eyes dart around the store, taking in every detail, it has to be more than casual interest. "We've got some great cases for those too," Leonard adds, gesturing to a nearby display. "Might want to consider one if you're planning on buying it." The young man raises an eyebrow at Leonard's slip, but his expression remains neutral. "I'll keep that in mind, thanks." As the stranger moves on to examine a row of tablets, Leonard retreats behind the counter. He busies himself with paperwork, but his attention never wavers from the young man browsing his store. A middle-aged woman approaches the counter, a wireless speaker in hand. Leonard rings up her purchase, exchanging pleasantries about the unseasonably warm weather. All the while, He keeps one eye on the stranger, who's now examining a high-end gaming laptop. The woman leaves, the bell chiming her departure. Leonard's fingers drum against the countertop, a war raging within him. Part of him wants to give the young man the benefit of the doubt. After all, he hasn't actually done anything wrong. But a louder voice, one that sounds suspiciously like his father's, whispers warnings of danger and deceit. Leonard's mind drifts to his childhood, to hushed conversations overheard at family barbecues. His uncle's gruff voice, "You can't trust them, Lenny. They'll smile to your face and rob you blind the second you turn your back." He shakes his head, trying to dispel the memory. Times have changed, he reminds himself. But as he watches the young man pick up another expensive gadget, doubt gnaws at him. The stranger approaches the counter, a sleek smartwatch in hand. "Excuse me, do you have this in black?" Leonard's throat tightens. "I'll have to check the back," he manages. As he turns to head to the storeroom, a flash of movement catches his eye. Did the young man's hand just slip into his pocket? Heart pounding, Leonard pauses at the storeroom door. He looks back, studying the stranger's relaxed posture, the innocent expression on his face. Doubt wars with suspicion in Leonard's mind. In that moment, Leonard makes a decision that will change everything. He reaches for the phone, fingers trembling slightly as he dials. Riverbend Police Department, a crisp voice answers. "How may I assist you?" Leonard takes a deep breath, his eyes never leaving the young man browsing his store. "Yes, this is Leonard Brown from Brown's Electronics Haven. I'd like to report a shoplifter." Leonard's palm grows clammy against the phone as he whispers into the receiver. "I've got a suspicious character in my store. I'm pretty sure he's about to steal something." The dispatcher's voice crackles through the line. "Can you describe the individual, sir?" Leonard's eyes dart to the young black man still examining the smartwatch display. He's a black male, mid to late 20s, about 6 foot. Gray t-shirt, dark jeans. He's been hanging around the expensive items for a while now. "Has he actually taken anything, Mr. Brown?" Leonard hesitates. "Well, no, not yet. But I saw him slip something into his pocket earlier. I'm sure he's up to no good." "All right, sir. We'll send a unit your way to check it out. In the meantime, don't engage with the individual. Just keep an eye on him and call us back if you see him actually steal anything." "Thank you," Leonard mumbles, hanging up the phone. His heart races as he steps back onto the sales floor, forcing what he hopes is a neutral expression. The young man looks up, flashing that disarming smile again. "Any luck with the black version?" Leonard blinks, momentarily confused before remembering the smartwatch. "Oh, sorry. Looks like we're out of stock on those. I can order one for you if you'd like." "That's all right," the man replies. "I'll think about it, and maybe come back later." Leonard nods stiffly, watching as the stranger moves on to examine a row of high-end cameras. Every movement, every glance sends Leonard's suspicion into overdrive. He's certain now that he saw something disappear into the man's pocket earlier. But what? And how can he prove it? The minutes crawl by like hours. Leonard finds himself straightening the same display for the third time, his eyes never leaving the young man for more than a few seconds. He jumps at every chime of the bell, expecting to see police officers. But it's just the usual flow of customers, Mrs. Grayson picking up a new power cord, teenagers browsing the latest gaming accessories. Leonard helps them mechanically, one ear always tuned to the movements of the suspicious stranger. He nearly drops Mrs. Grayson's change when he sees the young man pick up a top-of-the-line smartphone, turning it over in his hands with obvious interest. "Careful with that," Leonard can't help but call out, his voice sharper than intended. "It's not a toy." The man looks up, surprise flickering across his features. "Of course," he says smoothly. "I was just admiring the build quality. You don't often see this level of craftsmanship anymore." Leonard grunts non-committally, unnerved by the stranger's knowledge. It doesn't fit with the image in his head, the one of a common thug looking to make a quick score. He pushes the doubt aside. It's probably just a trick, he tells himself, a way to lower his guard. As if on cue, the bell above the door chimes. Leonard's head snaps up, relief flooding through him as he spots 2 police officers entering the store. Officer Jenkins, a stocky man with a bushy mustache, nods in Leonard's direction. His partner, A younger woman Leonard doesn't recognize scans the store with sharp eyes. Leonard hurries over, lowering his voice. Thanks for coming. He's over by the smartphone's gray shirt, jeans. I'm telling you, he's been casing the place for at least half an hour. Officer Jenkins furrows his brow. Has he actually taken anything, Mr. Brown? Leonard hesitates. Well, I'm not entirely sure, but I saw him pocket something earlier. And he's been hanging around all the expensive stuff, asking way too many questions. I know trouble when I see it. The female officer, her name tag reads Ramirez, exchanges a glance with her partner. All right, Mr. Brown, we'll talk to him, but you should know that browsing isn't a crime. If he hasn't actually stolen anything, just talk to him, Leonard insists. You'll see what I mean. The officers nod and make their way towards the young man, who's still examining the smartphone display. Leonard watches, heart pounding, as Officer Jenkins clears his throat. Excuse me, sir. Could we have a word with you? The young man looks up, surprise evident on his face. Of course, officers. Is something wrong? We've had a report of suspicious activity in the store, Officer Ramirez explains. Would you mind stepping over here with us for a moment? Leonard watches, a mix of vindication and anxiety churning in his gut, as the officers lead the young man to a quieter corner of the store. He strains to hear their conversation, but can only catch snippets. Just browsing, I swear. Empty your pockets, please. Some kind of mistake. The minutes stretch on, feeling like hours to Leonard. He helps a customer absently, his attention fixed on the ongoing conversation across the store. Why is it taking so long? Surely they've caught him red-handed by now? Finally, Officer Jenkins approaches the counter, his expression unreadable. Mr. Brown, could we speak with you privately for a moment? Leonard nods, leading the officer to his small office in the back of the store. His palms are sweaty, doubt beginning to creep in around the edges of his certainty. Mr. Brown, Officer Jenkins begins, his tone serious. I need to inform you that we are aware of an ongoing sting operation in town, targeting businesses suspected of discriminatory practices. Leonard blinks, confusion washing over him. Discriminatory? I don't understand. I called you about a shoplifter. Officer Jenkins sighs. The young man you reported? He's not a shoplifter, Mr. Brown. He's an undercover inspector from the Federal Anti-Discrimination Compliance Agency. The words hit Leonard like a physical blow. He stumbles back, groping for the edge of his desk. What? That's impossible. I saw him pocket something. We searched him thoroughly, Mr. Brown. He had nothing on him that wasn't his.
Norge stolen merchandise.
Leonard's mind reels, struggling to process this information. But why? Why would they send someone to my store? I don't discriminate. Officer Jenkins gives him a long, measured look. That's not for me to say, Mr. Brown, but I think you need to take a hard look at why you were so quick to assume this young man was a criminal. Now, if you'll come with me, there's someone who'd like to speak with you. Feeling as though the floor has dropped out from under him, Leonard follows Officer Jenkins back onto the sales floor. The young man, the inspector, is waiting, his expression a mixture of disappointment and resolve. Mr. Brown, he says, extending his hand. My name is Marcus Jackson. I think we need to have a conversation about what happened here today. Leonard stares at the outstretched hand, his world tilting on its axis. As the reality of his actions begins to sink in, one thought echoes through his mind. What have I done? The fluorescent lights of Brown's electronics haven seem to buzz louder than usual as Leonard Brown faces Marcus Jackson. The handshake hangs in the air between them, a chasm of misunderstanding and prejudice made physical. Officer Jenkins clears his throat. Mr. Brown, as I mentioned, Mr. Jackson here is an undercover inspector with the Federal Anti-Discrimination Compliance Agency. He's been conducting evaluations of local businesses to ensure they're adhering to anti-discrimination laws. Leonard's hand trembles as he finally accepts Marcus's handshake. The younger man's grip is firm, professional. I don't understand, Leonard stammers. Why my store? I've never. Marcus's expression remains neutral, but his eyes are sharp. Mr. Brown, our agency received multiple complaints about discriminatory practices in this establishment. My visit today was to assess the validity of those claims. The words hit Leonard like a physical blow. He stumbles back, groping for the edge of the counter. Complaints? But I've never. I treat everyone fairly. Officer Ramirez steps forward, her voice gentle but firm. Mr. Brown, perhaps we should continue this conversation somewhere more private? Your office, maybe? Leonard nods numbly, leading the small group to his cluttered back office. Posters of the latest gadgets compete for wall space with years of sales awards. He sinks into his chair behind the desk, suddenly feeling every one of his 58 years. Marcus takes a seat across from him, while the officers remain standing. The silence stretches, heavy with unspoken accusations. Mr. Brown, Marcus begins, his tone neutral. I'd like to walk you through my experience in your store today, if that's all right. Leonard nods, unable to find his voice. From the moment I entered, I was aware of your heightened attention. While that could be attributed to good customer service, your body language and tone suggested suspicion rather than welcome. You followed me around the store, watching my every move. When I asked questions about products, your responses were curt and dismissive. Marcus leans forward, his gaze intense. But the most damning action, Mr. Brown, was your decision to call the police based solely on my presence in your store. I had done nothing to warrant such a response. I was simply a customer, browsing your merchandise. Leonard's mind races, searching for justification. But I thought I saw you pocket something. Marcus shakes his head. I assure you, Mr. Brown, I took nothing. The officers have already searched me thoroughly. What you saw was a projection of your own biases and fears. The words land like a punch to Leonard's gut. He opens his mouth to protest, but no sound comes out. Officer Jenkins steps forward. Mr. Brown, I've known you for years. You're a fixture in this community. But I have to ask, would you have reacted the same way if Mr. Jackson had been white? The question hangs in the air, heavy with implication. Leonard's mind flashes to earlier that morning, the easy banter with Mrs. Henderson, the patient explanations to the young couple buying a TV. He compares those interactions to his treatment of Marcus, and shame washes over him. I don't know, he whispers, the admission costing him dearly. Marcus nods, a flicker of empathy crossing his features. That's an important first step, Mr. Brown. Recognizing our biases is crucial to overcoming them. Leonard looks up, meeting Marcus's gaze. What happens now? Am I going to lose my business? Marcus pulls out a small notebook. That depends on several factors. This incident will be thoroughly documented and investigated. The FATCA will review your store's policies, practices, and any past complaints. There will likely be fines, and you'll be required to undergo anti-discrimination training. Leonard slumps in his chair, the weight of his actions pressing down on him. I never meant. I didn't think. That's often the problem, Mr. Brown, Marcus says, his tone softening slightly. We don't always recognize our own biases, but intent doesn't negate impact. Your actions today made me feel unwelcome and criminalized in a place of business. Officer Ramirez steps forward. Mr. Brown, I'd like to add that false police reports are a serious matter. While we understand the context now, using law enforcement as a tool of discrimination is unacceptable. Leonard nods, unable to meet anyone's eyes. The enormity of his mistake is beginning to sink in, bringing with it a wave of shame and regret. Marcus continues, his voice steady. Moving forward, Mr. Brown, you'll need to take concrete steps to address the issues in your business practices. This includes revising your customer service policies, implementing diversity training for your staff, and actively working to create a welcoming environment for all customers. Leonard looks up, a spark of defiance flickering in his eyes. But I've always. This is just one misunderstanding. Surely you can see that? Marcus shakes his head, his expression firm. Mr. Brown, the complaints we received suggest this isn't an isolated incident. Your reaction today only confirmed the validity of those concerns. The fight drains out of Leonard. He slumps further in his chair, feeling old and out of touch. I don't know how to fix this, he admits quietly. That's what the training is for, Marcus explains. It's not about punishment, Mr. Brown. It's about education and growth, about recognizing harmful patterns and learning to do better. Officer Jenkins clears his throat. Leonard, I've known you for a long time. You're not a bad person, but good people can still hold harmful biases. This is a chance to confront those biases and make real changes. Leonard nods slowly, his mind spinning. He thinks of his grandfather, of the values he was raised with. He thinks of the changing world around him, of the diverse faces he sees in Riverbend every day. For the first time, he truly considers how his actions might have affected others over the years. I want to do better, he says finally, his voice barely above a whisper. I don't want to be that person anymore. Marcus nods, a glimmer of approval in his eyes. That's a good start, Mr. Brown. Acknowledging the problem is the first step towards solving it. He stands, straightening his jacket. You'll be receiving official documentation from FATCA within the next few days, outlining the next steps and any penalties. I strongly advise you to comply fully with all requirements. Leonard rises shakily to his feet. I will. I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson, for everything. Marcus pauses at the door, turning back to face Leonard. Apologies are important, Mr. Brown, but actions speak louder than words. I hope to see real change the next time I visit Brown's Electronics Haven. With that, Marcus exits the office. The officers follow, leaving Leonard alone with his thoughts. He sinks back into his chair, the events of the day replaying in his mind. The bell above the store's front door chimes, signaling Marcus's departure. Leonard buries his face in his hands, the gravity of his actions finally hitting him full force. He's built this business from the ground up, priding himself on being a pillar of the community. Now, with a single misguided action, he's jeopardized everything. Outside, life in Riverbend continues. Customers come and go, oblivious to the seismic shift that's occurred within the walls of Brown's Electronics Haven. But for Leonard, nothing will ever be quite the same again. Marcus stands by the window of his temporary apartment in Riverbend, gazing at the quaint Main Street below. The aftermath of the investigation into Brown's Electronics Haven unfolds like a slow-motion car crash. He watches as fewer and fewer customers trickle into the once bustling store. His phone buzzes. A text from his supervisor at FATCA. Great work on the Brown case. The fines have been issued. Marcus's jaw tightens. Justice served, but at what cost? He thinks of Leonard Brown's shocked face when the truth was revealed. The memory brings no satisfaction, only a complex tangle of emotions. A knock at the door snaps him out of his brooding. It's Carl, his liaison at the local police department. Thought you might want to see this, Carl says, handing Marcus a folded newspaper. The headline screams, Local business owner fined for racial discrimination. Marcus schemes the article, his stomach churning. The facts are there, cold and damning. Leonard Brown's prejudices laid bare for all to see. It's all over social media too, Carl adds. People are calling for a boycott. Marcus nods, his expression grim. It needed to come out. But this isn't going to be pretty. Carl hesitates. You did the right thing, Marcus. Brown's been getting away with this crap for years. I know, Marcus says, but the words feel hollow. He did his job, exposed the truth. So why does victory taste so bitter? Leonard Brown sits alone in his darkened living room, illuminated only by the harsh glow of his laptop screen. He scrolls through comment after vicious comment on the local news site's Facebook page. Racist scum. Never shopping there again. How long has this been going on? Each word is a dagger, piercing the carefully constructed image he'd built over decades. Leonard slams the laptop shut, but the accusations echo in his mind. His phone rings. It's his daughter, Sarah. Dad? Are you okay? I just saw the news. Leonard's throat constricts. I'm fine, sweetheart. It's not as bad as it looks. The lie tastes sour on his tongue. Sarah's silence speaks volumes. Dad, she says finally, her voice strained. Tell me you didn't really do those things. Leonard closes his eyes, shame washing over him. I don't know what to say, Sarah. Oh, Dad. The disappointment in her voice cuts deeper than any angry comment online. After he hangs up, Leonard pours himself a drink with trembling hands. The amber liquid does nothing to numb the pain of his crumbling world. The next morning, Leonard forces himself to open the store. The silence is deafening. No cheerful greetings from regular customers, no excited chatter about the latest gadgets. Just oppressive, accusatory silence. His lone employee for the day, Jenny, gives him a nervous glance. Mr. Brown? The sensitivity training instructor is here. Leonard nods, his stomach clenching. He follows Jenny to the back room where a middle-aged black woman waits, her expression neutral but her eyes sharp and assessing. Mr. Brown, she says, extending her hand. I'm Dr. Amelia Foster. I'll be conducting your mandated training sessions. Leonard shakes her hand, fighting the urge to look away. Let's just get this over with. Dr. Foster's eyebrow raises slightly. Mr. Brown, this isn't a punishment to be endured. It's an opportunity for growth and understanding. Leonard scoffs. What's to understand? I've been branded a racist. My business is ruined. What more do you people want? The words hang in the air, heavy and loaded. Dr. Foster doesn't flinch. And there, she says calmly, is exactly where we need to start. Hours later, Leonard's head spins. Dr. Foster has led him through exercises, shown him statistics, shared personal stories. It's overwhelming, challenging everything he thought he knew. This is just the beginning, Mr. Brown, Dr. Foster says as she packs up. Real change takes time and effort. Are you willing to put in the work? Leonard hesitates. Part of him wants to rage against the unfairness of it all. But a small voice, one he's ignored for too long, whispers that maybe, just maybe, he's been wrong. I'll try, he says finally. Dr. Foster nods. That's all anyone can ask. See you next week. As she leaves, Leonard notices Jenny hovering nearby. Jenny? Did you need something? The young woman fidgets. Mr. Brown, I was wondering if we could talk about making the store more welcoming for everyone. Leonard blinks, surprised. You have ideas? Jenny nods eagerly. A few, if you're open to hearing them. For the first time in days, Leonard feels a flicker of hope. I'm listening. Weeks pass. Leonard throws himself into the changes, desperate to save his business and salvage his reputation. New policies are implemented, staff undergo training, and Leonard forces himself to confront his own biases daily. It's not easy. Old habits die hard, and there are moments when Leonard wants to give up. But slowly, painfully, he starts to see the world through new eyes. One quiet afternoon, the bell above the door chimes. Leonard looks up to see a familiar face, Marcus. Mr. Jackson, Leonard says stiffly, what can I do for you? Marcus approaches the counter, his expression unreadable. Just wanted to see how things were going. Heard you've been making some changes. Leonard nods. Trying to. It's been eye-opening. Change isn't easy, Marcus says, but it's necessary. They regard each other for a long moment, the weight of their shared history hanging between them. I was wrong, Leonard says finally, the words feeling foreign on his tongue. About a lot of things. I'm trying to do better. Marcus nods slowly. That's all any of us can do, Mr. Brown. Keep trying, keep learning. As Marcus turns to leave, Leonard calls out, Mr. Jackson? Marcus pauses. Thank you, Leonard says quietly, for making me see. A ghost of a smile crosses Marcus's face. Make it count, Mr. Brown. That's all the thanks I need. As the door closes behind Marcus, Leonard takes a deep breath. The road ahead is long and uncertain, but for the first time in weeks, he feels ready to face it. Outside, Marcus walks down the street, his steps lighter than they've been since this whole ordeal began. He can't undo the past, can't erase the hurt Leonard's actions caused. But maybe, just maybe, some good can come from all of this. His phone buzzes. Another case. Another town that needs his attention. Marcus squares his shoulders, ready for whatever comes next. The work is never done, but each small victory, each mind opened, is a step toward the world he dreams of building. As he drives out of Riverbend, Marcus glances in his rearview mirror. Brown's Electronics Haven stands as a reminder of the challenges faced and the changes still to come. It's not a perfect ending, but it's a start, and sometimes that's enough.